Everything published was canon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this month's, and this is going to include March Holonet Journal, where I go over this month in time of Star Wars, our Lucasfilm history here. And I'm so glad to be here with you guys. And I want to say welcome to my latest channel member, Christine the Killer Carr. Thank you so much for becoming a channel member here. That helps immensely as well. And I have some fun things to share with you guys this time around. Sorry we missed last month. I had things going on. That is why I am including March with April. And so we're getting people starting to jump in here. And how this live stream goes here is that I will still interact with the chat. However, it's not going to be as interactive as my coffee chat, as we're going to go through some history that pertains to Lucasfilm for the month of March and April. That includes the movies. I'm doing the OT, the PT, and some of the Hasbro or toy line will happen next month, hopefully. And then we'll get into the expanded universe with a little bit of short stories and novels from, the Old Republic all the way to, I believe, the New Jedi Order era. I believe I have that down. So I'm so happy to be here with you guys. And hello, Botmont, how are you doing? Yeah, so, and I'm not on camera today, so I'm not dressed up you're not going to see me in my news outfit and my glasses and stuff. Today has been a pretty busy day for me. And I haven't had a chance to fully get out of my pajamas. Yes, it's just been a busy day with meetings on Zoom and all of that. So I am so thankful that you guys are here with me. And let's go ahead and get this show started. But first of all, I'm going to go ahead and put this banner down here. If you were the winner of Son of Kifu and Yoda paintings, they're going to go in for print copies. And then once they're done, then I will be mailing out your copies. And that, so you guys will hear from me about that, those who have won that. So that's the information on that. And another big announcement before we get started is starting in, we're in April right here. Yeah, May, I am going to have a chance for you guys to earn a copy of the Yoda painting I did. So all the channel members who participate in live streams from April, May to June, so from April to June 1st, or not April, I'm sorry, May to July 1st, I'm sorry, I'm behind on a month, then your name will be entered to win the painting, and we'll do the spin the wheel thing and all of that fun stuff. So again, from May to July. So May 1st to July 1st. If you are a channel member and you attend any of the live streams, I will take that down, and your name will be entered for a chance to win a copy of that painting. So there we go. I'm still a little behind on my time since my accident, so I apologize for that. And then here's this announcement here again. Welcome everyone. This is your once a month, this date in Lucasfilm history, Holonet Journal. So thank you guys for attending, and let's go ahead and get this party started. Let me see here. That's not exactly where I need to be at. There we go. And I was kind of disappointed. The top Holonet Journal was in Arabic, but when I downloaded it for the channel here to share, it took that off and put it back into English text there. So that was in Star Wars Arabic, and now it is in English. That's why it's on there twice. And thank you, Soul Assassin, for coming in. Do mods get paid overtime? No, I be quiet now. Well, actually, I was thinking about surprising you and sending you a copy of one of my paintings for your help. So thank you so much. So this month, again, like I said, it's going to be March and April. We're going to go over Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, production, and then also expanded universe. And so I have some specific stuff selected from those movies and throughout the time era. And this will not include any of Disney Star Wars. We are doing post or not post, we're doing pre-Disney. And so we'll have the history of that. So let's go ahead. And so the first one I have here is from Star Wars A New Hope, which is production from March through April 1975, where Ralph McQuarrie starts creating the concept sketches of the character of Chewbacca. And this was based on early descriptions of the character from the script. So there you go. So here are some interesting takes here on I guess you could say, the progression of what Chewbacca was to look like. And I love Ralph McQuarrie's art and all the concept art that you see and how George took inspiration, whether he used it or not. Like Vader with Luke, and also like how the ships look from inside. He took a lot of that, the ideas that he hired Ralph McQuarrie to make, and gave it to us in what we see through Star Wars today. And that includes going into the expanded universe. Chewbacca, an 8-foot tall, savage-looking creature resembling a huge gray bush baby monkey with fierce baboon-like fangs. So that's the description. His large yellow eyes dominate a fur-covered face and soften his otherwise awesome appearance. Over his matted furry body, he wears chrome bandoliers, and so it goes on and on. Flash jacket. I can't read that part there, but there you go. So got that out of the way. A flash jacket painted in a bizarre camouflage pattern, brown cloth shorts, and a little ouse. He is a 200-year-old Wookiee. So that kind of gives us an idea of how old they are, because we do see him, in the PT. And so that's amazing, because he has like a long lifespan like Yoda does. Although they are very different in size, shape, color, skin, fur, all of that, they have very different features, and a sight to behold. Han speaks of the Wookiee in his own language, or speaks to the Wookiee in his own language, which is little more than series of grunts. And so we know that over time, we know what Chewie looks like now. So this is, like I said, this is very interesting how that concept changed. Although like body image didn't, he just got a little bit more furrier over time, it looked like. And we also know that humans cannot speak Shiri-Wook or Wookiee language, because of the guttural sounds, and the vocal cords are very different from Wookiees to humans. And so I thought this was very interesting to share a concept art, or a couple of concept arts of Ralph McQuarrie when it pertains to Star Wars. And so what do you guys think about this? I have a few people in here. I know that there are other live streams going on, and that's okay. So let me know what you think about what Chewie look like from the beginning versus to the finalized product that we see of him in the movies and eventually in the EU. So there we go. And here is another, and I'm going to take the banner off because there we go. Here is another Ralph McQuarrie art, concept art. And this is the poster design for the main characters that shows the newly imagined female lead. So this was Star Wars A New Hope, April 1976. So this was when George was doing his story concept, and his story expanded not only through the OT, it also went into the PT. There was a huge, vast plethora of ideas, which was first called the Wheels, right? And then from there, he started dissecting stuff from the Wheels story, and he renamed the Wheels Star Wars. And so you see a lot of the concept from that in the PT and the OT. So he did have a plan, and we all know plans do change. So just imagine this. Okay, so one of his very first concepts was that the main character was a female lead. Yeah, so Very interesting. And then Bonmot Zero says, speaking of Wookiees, I'm in Kashyyyk and Couture. Awesome. Awesome. And let me see if there anybody else responded about um, Chewbacca, his concept art. I definitely prefer the finalized look. There are cool, these are cool, but his eyes creep me out a bit. Ha ha ha. I agree. They're kind of creepy. That art's kind of creepy. I like how he's more soft. Even he still looks intimidating, but he still looks softer. With the image we see now. Hit the like button. Yes, hit the like button and share that we are live. So this is one of the concept posters for Star Wars. And you see, the starfighters here. You see the Death Star right here. And then you have like Wookiee. We have Chewbacca here. And the only ones that really never changed in name and concept look are basically the droids, which I thought was very interesting because even when you read back in the concept scripts or story, the names are still the same for C-3PO and R2-D2. We see Luke and Han. Han's original name was Anakin. And then that got changed to Han. And so that's something I shared. If you don't follow me on my Twitter community, go find that. Find me on Twitter. Ask to join the Twitter YouTube community. And I do like to put in interesting fun facts and just Star Wars facts, stories, characters, ships, all of that pertaining to Star Wars pre-Disney. And so this is very interesting how this looks here, because they said the female lead, but then we also have someone with a lightsaber here, so very interesting concept. What do you guys think about this poster? Please share with me in the comments and we'll go ahead and chat about that before I move on. Let's see here. And Soul Assassin says, I think Dark Horse released a comic series with the original look and plot. I'll have to look into that. I don't remember, but you could be right. And then Bamat, yeah, I prefer the final look because of the eyes. Yes. And then Han was a lizard in the original plot, I believe. Yeah, he was a lizard. That was another thing. He was a lizard. But then there was a pilot named Anakin. And he was the one that was the first love of found love with Leia. Leia is another one that's name never really changed. So Han and Luke, either their names changed, their gender, or their species. So I thought that was very interesting. Chewbacca, basically, his image just changed. The stature still stayed the same. He still looked like what we now see it as, like a, what do you call it? A Sasquatch, I guess you could say. And so that's very interesting to see how much the concept art and theories of these characters have developed along the way. And we'll get more into the development of the story as we get along in this timeline here that I'm sharing with you guys, because we do have some development changes to share. That George did have a plan, but some of those plans did change to fit the story. And I think that's been one of the main arguments with Star Wars, like Star Wars Disney fans, Star Wars faux fans, or whatever you want to call them, is that they say that George never had a plan. He initially did have a plan, and the plan evolved into what we see now on screen. Logan says, my favorite posters are the special edition posters and PT posters because they all match up. Yeah, and that's the initial. Once the PT started being fleshed out more, and that includes the lava fight, the first duel between Obi-Wan and Anakin / Vader, was lava. We knew that. That's what that was in the history. It was in his initial story plan, and then also was spoken about in the New Hope novelization and concept stuff, and even in the lore. And so I will still stand with, there was only 2 duels between Obi-Wan, Vader, and not this initial rematch that they're trying to do now. And there's more evidence leading to that. And I will be coming out with a video on that with The Last of the Jedi here soon. So I agree. All right. So yes, and become a channel member here, especially if you want to try to win a copy of the painting. And even if you don't win a copy of the painting, channel members still get 10% off a purchase of a painting copy of the painting or the actual painting. The actual painting will cost a lot more, but you still get 10% off. That would be cool if one of you guys bought the actual paintings. All right. So I thought this was really interesting here. The Death Star still looks rather the same, and all that. The characters just changed around a little bit with their concept, whether it's species, gender, names, or what have you. Leia and the droids, their names never really changed. So, and the next one here, and I'm going to go ahead and give you full screen here so that doesn't cover up. And this is from Empire Strikes Back, March 6th, 1978. And this is from Time Magazine, reports that Lucas has plans to make 10 more Star Wars films after the first sequel. So the first sequel is Empire Strikes Back, as we know. The 12th film is expected to be finished in 2001. Well, we're already past that time. And again, this source is from Lucas's Galactic Empire in the Time Magazine, March 6, 1978. And so we already knew George was like thinking about it and then not, because we also have seen various interviews of George, and one is even in a recent one with him and James Cameron in 2018, I believe, that he really wasn't going to do a continuation story of the Skywalkers. Basically, that story has already been told, and the rest of the story has been told basically in the EU post Return of the Jedi. And he really wanted to do a Wills. He wanted to do a movie about the Wills, which is part of the Star Wars lore. And it gets more into the mystical force kind of idea. And he decided not to do that because he was afraid about if it was going to be popular or not. And he's always doubted his if people were going to like his ideas and his movies. And that was even going into American Graffiti and even the first Star Wars, which we know is A New Hope right now. He's always doubted that people were going to like what he was going to give. And that went all the way into the PT. And critics do criticize. People do listen to that. But in the end, most of Star Wars under George was beloved. And it wouldn't be successful if it wasn't. And so I thought this was something interesting to share. Because, George has always said it more than once that he was done filming, telling the story through film, that whatever was told post Return of the Jedi is what had happened. And at Tribeca in 2015, I believe, is when he said that, the novels and even the grandchildren's in the novels are part of the Star Wars saga. And so there you go. Let's see here. And let me see who is else coming in. We have 7 beautiful souls here. Please hit the like button and already read that one. And Small Time Republic, hello, and how are you doing? I'll bet George picked 2001 because of 2001, A Space Odyssey, if he indeed said that. Yeah, maybe you're right, because he's always doing his research. He's always, linking things up. He's that kind of person. I agree. He is that kind of person. All American Model. There we go. Yes, All American Model. That's Cheryl Teague. Is that how you say Teague? I think that's how you say that. Yes. So there you go. So what do you guys think about this? Because we're already way past 2001. We had already had the Phantom Menace already in 1999. And I believe, and I'm not sharing any prequel trilogy history today, this month. Next month, look for that. So we already got into the PT era. He's already developing it. And so share with me, you guys, for the Phantom Menace, where were you? Like, where did you watch it? Did you watch it in theater, drive-in theaters? And how many times did you guys go in to watch it? Before I moved on, I just want to get this information from you. I just want you guys to share. So when the PT first came out with the Phantom Menace, where were you guys? Like, and how many times did you and a bunch of friends go? How old were you? If you want to share that with me, how old were you? So share in the comments. Let me know. Let me know. Yeah. So, and it's so interesting seeing these magazines, like even back in the early 2000s, like this 2001, and how different it feels like the graphic design art looks versus today. So this is very interesting to see. And Bahamut says, I saw Phantom Menace in theaters and I was jealous because it came out on my sister's birthday. Well, that's a great birthday gift. Did you take her for her birthday? I would like to know. Yeah, I went and seen it, and I seen it in the theaters, and I rather liked it. I like the pod racing. Not many people don't like the pod racing part. I liked it. That's one of my favorite scenes in there. Yeah, and if you want to share your favorite scenes, go ahead. All right, so let's move on. Let's see here. And then Empire Strike Back, April 1978. George Lucas completes a second draft of The Empire Strikes Back, now subtitled Episode 2. Which that's very interesting because later on, once it's ready and done in production and ready to be aired in theaters and stuff, it went to Episode 5. In this second draft, Lucas first introduced the idea that Darth Vader is Luke's father. So it's began in the second draft with the reintroduce of the father Skywalker and Ben Kenobi both appearing to Luke as Force ghosts. It became apparent that these characters were redundant. Kenobi had originally been created as a replacement to Luke's father in the story, and in this new script, Yoda had been created to replace the now deceased Ben Kenobi. And that's interesting. If you follow me on my YouTube community page on Twitter, you would see that Yoda was already in the script, but he was a critter called Buzzard, I believe, or I have to look at that again. And then he's like, I need to change the story around a little bit. And so now Yoda's going to become this old wizened character and a Jedi master. So I thought that was very interesting. And once Lucas realized this problem, he was able to remove Father Skywalker completely and turn him into Darth Vader. So he went and took that concept and just gave that concept to Darth Vader. And we have the amazing, reveal. So he subvert our expectations, but it was brilliantly done. It wasn't like, like a slap in the face. It was like oh my God, really? I didn't see that coming kind of deal. It wasn't a slap in the face. It didn't ruin continuity from the first one. It expanded more on that. We didn't see it coming, and it made people more interested to see what's going to happen next. So. And then this remained a secret even to most of the crew and actors. Throughout most of the production of the films, the famous I am your father was not written in the production scripts. David Prowse filmed the scene by telling Luke that Obi-Wan killed his father. Director Irvin Kershner and Mark Hamill were the only people who on set during the shooting that knew the actual dialogue of the scene. James Earl Jones was also let in on the secret as he had to record Vader's dialogue. So that's very interesting. Let's see here. And we were kids when it came out, when The Phantom Menace came out. Nice. And Soul Assassin says, 9-year-old Soul, little mind was blown when he saw episode 1. Awesome. And Sharon G, hello, how are you doing? And welcome. Saw Phantom Menace at the movie theaters 3 times with family and friends. We loved it. Loved the pod race scene. So did I. I thought that was fun. I was 4 when Phantom Menace came out. You were a young lad. You were a young guy. I'm gonna have more people dropping in. Thank you. And Small Time Republic states, I remember reading in Star Wars novel that Yoda was described as blue. Green is better for him. Yeah, Yoda was described as blue. That's very true. I should do a blue painting as well. And just name it like Yoda is blue or blue Yoda. And then let's see here. Where did I leave off at? Okay, George Lucas. The last issue of Luke's father, I kept pretty quiet for a long, long time. I didn't tell anyone, not even Kirsch. I just couldn't risk it getting out. And yes, he did. He kept it secret, and it was a well kept secret. And it stunned everybody, even on set. This draft included the first mention of Boba Fett and the other bounty hunters that would be pursuing Han Solo. And then another time, this is during April 1978, Star Wars had grossed 215 million in the United States. And so I left that in there just because it's part of April history there. And so that's remarkable. Star Wars, like I said, George was skeptical that it was going to be well received by the audience. Star Wars, now called A New Hope, and it was well received and went beyond expectations. And he did write Splinters of the Mind's Eye as a novel sequel that he can easily turn into a script. And it is different than what we got with Empire Strikes Back. And, but it's still there. It's still part of canon. It's still part of the story. And if you guys read Splinters of the Mind Eye, put yes in the comment there. Let's see here. Wrong one. All right. Sorry, autocorrect messed that up. That's okay. I get it. So what do you think about Yoda here? How he had to go ahead and bring Yoda in to be that new mentor. And we still seen time with Ben Kenobi, but I understand that Luke still needed a mentor to train under. Not like, and I'll just say that here now, not like the new Disney characters where they don't really need training at all, or a new mentor. So what do you guys think about that? And then says, at OG Star Wars, did you go to the store to get episode 1 toy when the movie came out? We couldn't at the time. I was disappointed about that. My family had priorities on what they spent at what time, and so we got to see the movies. Yeah. Let's see here. All right. So let's go ahead and move on. All right. So now we're getting into Return of the Jedi. So we covered A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and now Return of the Jedi. And this is March 9th, 1981. And this is NPR begins a 13-part radio dramatization of Star Wars featuring Mark Hamill and Anthony Daniels. So how many of you guys listened to this? Or have you guys listened to this? I have this. And what do you guys think? Because the radio dramatization was a big thing even back then. And it's pretty interesting because we got to listen to it without watching it. It's also part of the, overall continuity as well. And I thought it was pretty much interesting. And if you listen to it, what do you think about it? So let me know in the comments here. Let's see here. And here I was told George didn't have a plan when he made the OT and just winged it. Turns out he has a plan. He had a plan. And he expanded from those concept and the story that he written. He did have to develop backstories for some of the characters, which is common and normal. When you're writing something, you don't really expand on backstories yet. So that's common, but doesn't mean he didn't have a plan. Let's see here. During an interview, Mark Hamill said Harrison Ford leaned over to him and said, "Hey kid, how come you didn't tell me when the I am your father part?" I know Harrison's like, I was left out of this shit, which is funny. Why didn't you tell me? So, and then Small Time Republic states, there is a mini series coming out depicting the making of The Godfather. I'd love to see one done on Star Wars. There's a lot of the making of Star Wars. You can find them on YouTube. You can even get the novels, the books on that. I, in fact, extensively watched last week the making of Revenge of the Sith, doing some research and also talking about it on live streams and stuff like that. So you can find them, or you can find them, you can watch, and you can read. There's even the making of the OT, like A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. There are those as well. If you have the early DVD releases, you will also have those on the DVDs. The current ones for under Disney Star Wars, I don't think they have them. And then when you start purchasing Disney reprints of the expanded universe with the Legends label, they are taking out, well, for the new covers, the Essential Legends ones, they are taking out the acknowledgement that is published inside the novels. The acknowledgement basically acknowledges like anybody from Lucasfilm, including George Lucas himself, Sue Rustoni, or anyone else like Weston Games, what have you, and how much they had helped them establish the novels. And that is proof that they did work with the company, including George, on making sure their novels fit into continuity to the movies. And so if you buy any Essential Legends novels with the new covers, that's taken out. It's very dishonest of them to do that. I say buy and collect pre-Disney reprints or pre-Disney novels that doesn't have the Legends labels on them whatsoever, if possible. So that's my little rant there. Empire of Dreams is good, might be on YouTube. It is on YouTube. I have it saved on my channel, so I can go back and watch it if I need to. Let's see, in Small Time Republic, where actors would play George Lucas and the studio executives as as he fights to get the movies made. Oh, you mean like a biography type documentary film regarding him? That would be fun to watch. I like that parody that's made of him getting pissed off about Mara Jade. I thought that was funny because I think many people misunderstood George's thought about Mara Jade. He really didn't care for her look. He thought that she didn't look like a Jedi and she was too more like cosmopolitan model type. But he still allowed her to marry Luke. He still, allowed her existing in the lore. And we know that if he didn't like the character or the plot concept or even the novel, he vetoed them so they didn't get published or they had to change the story. And so if he really didn't care for her, she would have been dead after the Thrawn trilogy. There you go. So that's just... there you go. Making of episode 3. There you go. So that's just, how that went back then. And people don't realize that when they argue that George didn't like Mara Jade, and so she's irrelevant. So there you go. And Zaggerot 315, hello. How are you doing tonight? Nice to see you. Let's go ahead and move on here. And so if you guys listen to the original radio drama, just let me know. You can put a Y in there and maybe give your thoughts, and I'll read that in a little bit. Now let's go on to Return of the Jedi, April 12th, 1982. So we had March, now we're going into April. And this is filming takes place in the Yuma Desert in Arizona for the Great Pit of Carcoon sequence right here. And so I just thought I'd share this right here. That was an awesome scene. The beginning of Return of the Jedi where Luke comes in. He opens up the door, the big old huge gated door, iron door, and basically Force choke pushes, and that could be debated. Force choke or pushes the guards away and makes his way in. He's more confident. He doesn't have as much self-doubt. He's not flighty, I guess you can say. And he goes in like a badass and, in a sense, takes control of the situation. In a sense, we know that he gets captured still, but he does have a plan, and that plan slowly fruitions. Maybe not exactly to the way he wants them to, but they slowly fruition into what we see and what happens at the Pit of Carcoon. What do you guys think about this episode or this scene here? What do you guys think about the scene of them going to get executed at the Pit of Carcoon? Let me see here. You're welcome. And let's see here. Star Wars Legacy Reveal document. Thank you so much. So Thank you, Soul Assassin, for sharing all this. And I'm going to go ahead and go back and put them in the description after when I edit the description after we're done here, so that you guys can reference all of those as well. So if you haven't seen them, they are there for you. And for me, like I said, I really like the scene here. George did fairly well with what he had and what he can do and what he could produce at the time. He was still, he was still leading in groundbreaking filming in the film, doing some groundbreaking film, stuff, I guess you could say. And so I thought it was very interesting, like looking at the production and how everything looks, how everything was built. And then later on, just watching the movie and realizing, oh my God, he really did a good job for the time of making things look believable. Making the Sarlacc pit and the Sarlacc look believable. Making Jabba's, his floating, I guess you could say yacht. It's not really a yacht, but his barge. There we go. And made it look believable. So I'm just at awe at the time with how, film development was back then versus now. He was leading the way, paving the way for the films we have today. And so I thought that was really, really interesting to see and watch, and then go back and watch the movie. Let's see here. My favorite part of the original radio drama is from the first one where an Imperial officer tries to marry Leia. It got true original EU. I have to go back and watch or listen to all of that. Let's see. I haven't listened to the radio dramas, but they're on YouTube now. Save them for later. Yeah, you could almost find everything on YouTube these days. Maybe I will take and go and record them and upload them or download them and upload them on my channel here, so you guys can come and listen to them at any time. Of course, I'm not going to be able to monetize them, but that's not the point. I'm not worried about making money off of that. I just want to keep original Star Wars in front of you guys. And Bamat says, I love the scene because of Luke's new lightsaber. Right. His new lightsaber is amazing. I like when I seen that. And then when I seen the deleted scene of him, looks like he was tuning it up more than anything else in the cave there. I was like, man, what a missed opportunity to see him, at least having working on his new lightsaber. And later on, we found out how he constructed his saber. And in the lore, it ties everything together about how Obi-Wan Kenobi left him his own, like a journal, a training journal, and also had a little bit of history of Kenobi's years with his father and the Clone Wars. Asajj Ventress is mentioned in it as well. I have to go back and review it. It's been a while. Right now I'm reviewing Last of the Jedi. So we get to see, from Shadow of the Empire, we get to see more growth, him having to sit back and allow his his cybernetic hand to bond with his body, with his arm, with his wrist. And so then he is creating his saber. He's learning, he's training some more, redoing research with what he can, with what he's given. And so it's just worth the time to read Shadows of the Empire, simply for that and other reasons as well. So if you haven't had a chance to read that, I recommend that. Soul Assassin, the stuntman story about return is hilarious. Of course not, Mark. I wouldn't let you jump if it wasn't safe. Yeah, we're gonna have to review some of that for Coffee Chat. It's always fun to go back and review some of those clips from the making of, and so stay tuned for that. I'm getting ideas now. When I get to talk with you guys and do these live streams, Holonet Journal and what have you, it just gives me more ideas to do other things. Sharon, the barge sequence looked great for the time. Yeah, exactly. So amazing stuff here. Like I said, George was leading the way, and he still did when he got to the PT. He had this brilliant mind. He's seen things. He tried things out. He pushed the envelope on stuff, and was successful with it. And then now we're getting into the expanded universe. I only have OT and expanded universe material to share with you next month. I'll have more, and it'll be for May. So Holonet Journal, expanded universe here, and the short story that I'm going to share here with you guys is it's from starwars.com. I don't know if it's on there anymore. I didn't go back and check, probably not, but this was published in March 2010, and the timeline is 3660, Battle Before Yavin. So this is an Old Republic story, and the world's visited is Corellia. So this is a single place, single character, like main character type story, and the main character is Hilo Viz. I think I said that right. And basically, this is about, and I didn't look, I should have looked to see how you can get the story to read it. I'm sorry, I didn't think about that. I will share that in my Twitter community and here on my YouTube community section of YouTube. So basically, the summary is a superstitious smuggler, Hilo, pilots her ship, the Crimson Fleece, to Corellia, delivering prototype engines to the Rendili Vehicle Corporation on behalf of crime lord Varga the Hutt. After the transaction is completed, her instincts save her when her ship erupts into explosion and she is stranded at the corporate offices. Knocking out an absent-minded Jedi Knight, she escapes Corellia by stealing a prototype Vanguard class light Corvette. And so that is the story here. These short stories are, fun to read. Sometimes they are single, like they don't hurt continuity, but they're just like a standalone story. And so we have a story based on Corellia and a smuggler as well. And so again, like I said, I'll see if this is published elsewhere. I think it is, and I'll find that link and share it within the descriptions, and I'll share it in both my YouTube and Twitter communities so you guys can check it out. So there we go. Let's see here. The yacht barge scene looked great for the time. Oh yeah, I read that already. Let me see here. And OG Star Wars, how does Palpatine come back to Dark Empire? Not conflict with Anakin's legacy of the Chosen One. We will discuss that later on. Just message me on Twitter and we'll discuss that, okay? All right. So this is The Smuggler's Vanguard, Old Republic, short story by Robert Chesney. And I don't recall if I ever read this one. This is one I didn't read too much Old Republic stuff. So this is one I will probably have to do a review on, which should be fun because I haven't done any reviews in a while on novels and short stories. So stay tuned for that. Another idea. And let's see here. I didn't know about the book. I thought I read the audio book or the audiobook to all the Old Republics. Yeah, so they're short stories that do occur, and sometimes we miss them because they're either they were published on the StarWars.com or the Insider. A lot of insiders past and I think even present, but I don't really care for present stories now. They have short stories there. In fact, this is another one. Omega Squad Targets. And this is a short story from Star Wars Insider number 81. In fact, I have this Star Wars 81 saved on my computer. So this is another one I would love to probably read and enjoy with you guys on Coffee Chat. So here it is. And so I got this image from my copy here. And so this is by Karen Travis, obviously. And it was, published in March 2005. And the timeline is 22 BBY. And the worlds visited are Coruscant and Camino. Main characters, Fee Darman, Anton Niner, Kalskarada Ord, and Mina Tills. So Anton and Niner are two different people, I believe. I think that was just a spell. Like I forgot to put a comma in between them. So I apologize. Yeah, Anton is on his own, as I remember. Let's see here. Hello, beautiful lady. Can't stay long. Heading to bed. Long day tomorrow at OG Star Wars. Well, thank you so much. And thank you again for becoming a channel member, and catch the replay, especially if you're curious about Star Wars history and all of that. So thank you for coming in. All right. So the summary here is rather short. The clone commandos Omega Squad, advised by their former instructor Cal Scarata, are called upon to help settle a tense hostage crisis on Coruscant. Aided by Ordo, an ARC trooper also trained by Scarata, Omega Squad storms the building in which the terrorists are holding the hostages. In the course of the action and the chaos of the attack, Commando Anton is shaken at how readily he might have mistakenly killed Scarata based on his deeply embedded obedience to order first and foremost. So, very interesting story here. Who has read the Commando series? If you have the books and if you read them, let me know. Let me know. And again, become a channel member. All right. So there's a little bit of continuity here, like side notes here. Anton's shock is meant to foreshadow the clones' eventual carrying out of Order 66. Regardless of the relationship with their commanding officer, in the story, Senator Mina Tills is male. Thought through the 4th season of the Clone Wars would canonically establish her as female. So there's a discrepancy. And this is the Clone Wars. This is Filoni Clone Wars. And so we already know that Filoni did not really keep a sharp eye on continuity. He didn't really honor continuity. And so we have another discrepancy right here with a character. So if you didn't know about that, Mina Tills, is male until the Clone Wars. And so he went ahead and changed the gender of the character that was invented by Karen Traviss to female. So there you go. So this, again, foreshadows Order 66 on them, bluntly obeying without second thought commands, and does not mention the chip as well. So there you go. So a bit of news and history here on this as well. And then Matt G, hello, how are you doing? Awesome. Yeah. And this story is one that I would like to sit. It's not that long of a story, but I would like to sit and read with you guys and go over with Coffee Chat. Stay tuned for that. I don't know which one I want to do. I am honestly thinking of doing a Sith history for Coffee Chat and talking about Sith from the Old Republic all the way up to Legacy, and talking about various Sith, how they evolved, all of that. So stay tuned for that. I'm looking forward to that. So again, Karen Traviss short story here. And a very awesome one. I really like her stories when it comes to the clone troopers. And let's see here. I've read Republic Commando series. They were okay. Not the best, but definitely not the worst. No, I liked them. They were good. And then when you get into Legacy, like the New Jedi Order with the evolution of the clones and Mandalorians and stuff like that was really good. But then when you get into Legacy, it gets a little bit better with Karen Traviss's writing with the Mandalorians and the clones and such. So that's good. And Keely Chow is here. Hello, how are you doing? Let's see here. And Sharon G, sounds good. So now we're going back in time again for April 1979. And this is Han Solo at Star's End. This is a Brian Daley novel, and the timeline is spaced around 2 to 1 BBY, Battle Before Yavin, so right before A New Hope. And this is what I love is this trilogy. And we got 2 trilogies of Han Solo trilogies, one by Brian and one by AC Crispin. And she honors what he has done before. There are references, cross continuity between the two because of her. And I thought that was well and respectfully done, something that Filoni has never been able to do. And so here the worlds visited was Amund, Banadan, Brigia, Delalt, Doron. And tell me if you recognize any of these planets because they are reused. Eddie, Kamar, Kamar and then Lore, Midas 8, Oron 3, Runadan, Ruderig, that was hard for me, and Shahilindil, and Sarlusif, and Urdur. And so these are the planets our sectors that are, in the novel here as well. Let's see here. And let's see here. Soul Assassin says, I found Amiga Squadron in YouTube. Downside is it's in German or some other language. Bummer. Okay, I will share this. What I'm going to do, and I'll add this on my list, is the Battle of Jabim and the Shadows of Our Father. So Luke and Anakin's story with Jabim, I am going to separate them because I have them on PDF, and I'm going to extract them and then put them together because you can read them back to back with no problem. So when I do that, I will take the story as well and do the same, and then I'll share. Maybe I'll create some kind of file system for you guys to be able to upload them and keep them for yourselves. So we'll see how that goes. All right. And so I'll keep you guys informed on that. So the main characters is Han Solo, Chewbacca, Bullocks, Blue Max, Jessa, Ewan Glide, Alderman, Rikon, Badir, Atur. I'm probably butchering these guys' names, but it's Star Wars. I find out that I butcher them until I listen to them and figure out how to say them sometimes. Mike Horyig, Harkin, and Ployo. It's somehow got cut off on the bottom. I thought I had it just at the right size and length, width and length. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this novel here within this here. And this is a 3-part series. Like I said, it's a trilogy, but the first book was came out on paperback in April 1971. The other one's October of 79. I said 71, not 79. I'm sorry. October 79, August 1980. So they came out kind of back to back as quick as they could. And very interesting story. I am just wondering if you guys have ever read the Brian Daley's trilogy for Han Solo. And if you did, share with me what you liked about it. I had a discussion about this with Open Airlock and Brian's. No. I take that back. I lied. So I'm thinking about the Lando Calrissian one. So I take that back, rewind. Let's see here. All right, so let's see here. And the next one here is dun dun dun, the one, the only sacrifice, the one that many people turned away from Legacy. Not many, I would probably say some, because I didn't turn away. I still like the series. I still enjoyed it. I didn't mind Mara getting killed off, even though I love her character. And so, and I have my little banner over it. Let me go ahead and close it out real quick. So paperback, it came out on paperback April 2008. And this was about 40 ABY after Battle of Yavin. And the worlds visited was the Kunturum system, Coruscant, Drawl, Hapes, Kavan, Huat, Mandalore, MZX 32905, and that is, I believe, an asteroid, and Tanab, and Terraphon, Vulptur, and Ziost. And we know Ziost is a Sith planet as well. Main characters: Jason Solo, Mara Jade Skywalker, Ben Skywalker, Luke Skywalker, Boba Fett, Lumaya, Leia Organa Solo, Han Solo, Jaina Solo, Jori Lakoff, Lon Shivu, Cal Omos, Chai Naltha, Dur Gidgen, Ges Ord, Gorn Bavine, Medrit Bavine, Mirta Give, and Alima Rar. So in this series, we get introduced. Well, I don't know if they're exactly introduced in a series as a couple, but their history with Gorn Bavine and Midrit Bavine, they are a couple. They are a gay couple. And so when people say that there was no representation before the buyout, before Disney took over on the company, there was. There was. And so the story, like I said, I rather liked. I enjoyed. It's I think one of Karen Travis's gooder. It's one of the gooder stories, better stories. And so basically, the summary is rather long here, so I'm just going to get a quick summary on this. Is Ben Skywalker delivers the amulet of Kalara to Jason. So he sends him off to Chaos. Before then, he discovers a Sith meditative spear. It's kind of like a bio type ship, just like the Vong ships were. And then, of course, Jason is basically slowly taking over on the Galactic Alliance and through his Galactic Alliance guards and stuff. And he is already made the commitment to become Sith. And for him to fully cross over, he needs to sacrifice someone he loves, someone that he's close to, that will affect and bring pain and sorrow to everyone and also hurt him in a way. And at first he thought it was his mother or his parents. Then he thought it was his apprentice at the time, Ben Skywalker. Then he came to realization that it had to be Mara. Mara, because, he looked up at one point to his uncle Luke Skywalker, right? And Mara is his wife. Mara had a lot of influence on him. Mara was also on his side when he was deciding to turn. She always defended him. When Luke was like, something's wrong, she's like, no, maybe he's just having girlfriend issues or what have you, So she was always on his side. And then she was the mother to his apprentice. So the direct impact of her being killed, rippled throughout the whole Skywalker family because she had such a, great influence in many ways. And so there you go. And then so he becomes a Sith after he kills her. What was heartbreaking is Luke's realization that she passed away, and that scene was just heartbreaking. And then another heartbreaking scene was Ben Skywalker, and I have quads zipping by my house. So if you hear that, that's what's going on. So seeing Ben Skywalker, not seeing, but you know what I mean, seeing in your mind's eye, I guess you could say, Ben Skywalker, holding on to his mom and, waiting, until, her body can be retrieved. So he sat with her. That was brutal. Yes, you're right, Soul Assassin. That was brutal. And then, so we have that. And then the story leading after that is called Inferno, which is my absolute favorite story, but we're not going to talk about that here right now. And so I highly recommend this. I highly recommend Legacy of the Force. Don't start in the middle. If you start in the middle, you're going to be like, holy crap, that was a lot to take in. Just like A New Jedi Order, this book didn't shy away from killing people and the dark story within it. So I highly recommend this as well. And if you guys read this, let me know what you thought about it. Like I said, not many people, I don't think that this was a split good and bad critique. Like that was split. But I do believe that people did get shocked with it, that there was shocking revelation with this. Very, very, very dramatic novel here. And then a little bit of history behind Jason Solo and his name, his Sith name, is that the authors didn't know what they wanted to do or how they wanted to name him, Darth, whatever the name is going to be. So they got fans involved. And that's what Lucasfilm was very well with, is getting fans involved. And so they started doing entries on possible Sith names, and Cadus was one of them. Cadus or Kaitis, I always say Cadus or Kaitis, was one of them. And so once the entries got narrowed down and Kaitis was one of the names, they had the fan base vote. And this is where we get the revelation of the winning name. The winning entry for Jason's Sith name, Darth Kitus, was submitted by Towina Poland, who is acknowledged at the front of the book. And so, yeah, so this is where we get the name Darth Kitus. And the name was strictly a fan made up name. It wasn't made by the authors. So I thought that was really, really interesting as well. And so let me know what you guys think about this. Let me see here. Small Time says the purple hut from Clone Wars Zyro certainly had some representation going on. I'll leave it at that. They are what do you call it when they can reproduce on their own? I don't remember the name or what the term is. But yeah, so they can pretty much reproduce on their own. Let's see here. Sharon G says, I would say Green. Sharon G says, cool. I didn't know that. Yeah, it was really, really, really neat. Soul Assassin. I remember that name contest, and some fans named him after a river in hell. I have to go back. I'll share that in fun facts on my Twitter community, since a lot of people don't know about that. So follow me on Twitter, and then most of all, follow me on my Twitter YouTube community, which links up to this community here on YouTube. And I'll do a fun fact on that too. There's a lot to share. There is a lot to share. And so there you go. So this concludes this month's Holonet Journal for the month of March and April. I tried to spread things out a bit, like I don't try to make it too condensed so we could sit and talk about and expand on the topic during the time. Believe me, there's a lot that I could have shared. And if this keeps going into next year, I'll have more content for you. So I don't want to share everything at once for the month of March and April. I want to make sure that if this stays a permanent show for the channel, that the following year I have more content to give you for Holonet Journal when it comes to Lucasfilm history. And that can also go into other things like, production in-house, like, the history of Skywalker Sound and all of that. So there's a lot to cover. But this is my announcement here. New merch coming soon. I am in the process of taking this image here that I painted of Mistress of Rat-a-Tack. And I'm going to make t-shirts out of it. And I'm going to also have stickers made and mugs and more. And I will have that up. I'm thinking of keeping Redbubble, but I might go to Teespring, I think it's called, or whatever it's called, and use that. We'll see how that goes. But right now I'm under Redbubble for merch, and I am phasing out the Legends Gal stuff because I am no longer using that as part of my platform. In fact, I'm trying to encourage everybody to try to purchase pre-Disney Star Wars items without, like, the novels and stuff, without the Legends label. And so there's no reason for me to represent that anymore if I'm not going to, encourage that. So that's the change here. So I think this will make a great sticker, especially a foam sticker around the lightsabers and the planet Rat-a-Tack and all of that. And then on a shirt as well. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see you guys purchase and share with me on Twitter and here on YouTube as well. And yeah, so we're coming to the end of Holonet Journal for the month of March and April. And I thank you guys so much for coming in and going over this exciting time and development of Lucasfilm, pre-Disney, and what was published during the time and what was going on during the time of the making of the movies. And if you have any questions right now before we conclude, please share them with me now. And then Fook Norris, been listening from work. Thanks for the show, OG and friends. Thank you so much. And thank you again for my channel members. And then a reminder, starting next month on the 1st, May 1st, we'll begin the campaign for a chance for you to earn a copy of the Yoda painting. And if you've won the copy of of Son of Kifu and Yoda, that's going to get copied for prints. So stay tuned for that, and I'll let you guys know through email, when that's being sent off to you as well. So thank you guys again for tuning in. Go ahead and go and join the community on Twitter. And if you can afford, become a channel member. I greatly appreciate that. And I thank you guys again for tuning in to Holonet Journal, where we have this time in Lucasfilm history, a little bit of history news going on for you guys to learn more about the company and the production and all of that. So thank you guys again, and may the Force be with you.
All canon. Everything published was canon.